Okay, abusuya during NPP tenure, Professor Frimpong Boateng, drop a galamsey reporter, former President Akuffo, and yes, our investigation reports. Nabusuya, or this our report no, by no galamsey na NPP say or more fighting. Now those or more NPP ni mana or involved in galamsey no. NPP leaders, gurus, apparatchiks are more NPP. Omo enana galamsey the likes of Gabi Mokwajo upon Kromamo Akuffo Addo na kasani Jubilee House of Honor omo na galamsey chairman Wontumi na enkomoto train bi akoso a enkomoto train course no President Mahama ya order na say sankofo na omudin appear Professor Frimpong Boateng reporting investigations reports now. Those involved in a freezy or more account with immediate effect. Or more air sponsor a galamsey. Now, or more I just say normal persons no Ghana for now more from now money or more share now galamsey na no and won't here into no or more omudin APs are reporting no a freezy or more account into no President Mahama so ever be take quick action on a yes and seminar Professor Zato at the Tuja. Mommy and corner, young Konkuti and Sama or the Tuja. Unsubscribe, subscribe, like, na share ma Afro so and sa into me and Kabi. Ghana Politics Avenue. So and don't forget to click on the notification bell. So na bear any update be able to drop piano. Once able to me Akabi, Madam Ase.
Was at this meeting as well yesterday. They, in their statement, acknowledged what has been done and what they expect to be done. And the president references, together with the Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, a number of things that have been done, including the thousands of people who have been arrested, excavators that have been impounded, over 1,000 pumps as well, that's water pumps, and then also the tracking of excavators. And I think that's the one of the major takeaways as well. Darrell, you referenced that in our earlier conversation, that now excavators are going to be tracked. So get to know where it is and what it is being used for, as against the previous situation as we had it, that excavators were not tracked. Dr. Zato, does this reflect the will to end this canker once and for all?
Thank you very much. I just wanted to clarify something. At the beginning of this government's term, the Interior Minister announced a policy of deporting foreigners caught in galamsey that they will not be prosecuted. Has that policy been revoked? Has it changed?
It hasn't
It
hasn't changed.
It hasn't changed.
No.
So it means that if you are a foreigner, you are caught doing galamsey, we'll buy you a one-way ticket to go back home. But if you're a Ghanaian, you're caught and you are doing galamsey, we'll prosecute you and probably jail you. So that is the current policy still.
Are you sure?
In fact,
I'm asking. That's why I'm asking.
I think Muntaka has. He came to clarify. I'm remembering that he came to clarify.
That was asked yesterday.
Yeah, he came to clarify.
So Darrell, you are at the meeting yesterday because there was a specific question on this, and
yes,
there was a response to the effect that there hasn't been any policy direction in that regard.
Yes, I think in response to that, it was said that it is not a government policy, but an administrative arrangement that is in place. But
that's just the clarity.
But that is still to say that it has not changed.
It has not changed.
It's still the way they treat foreigners as per the administrative whatever they have in place now.
So then Muntaka was there.
Yeah, he was at the meeting.
So I just needed that clarity because
it was there.
It's
and there was also one key question one of our colleagues asked as well. Exactly. And so it means that it's still something that is enforced.
Okay. So under the current policies in this country, and especially at the Ministry of the Interior, if you are a foreigner, you can come into this country, you can pollute our waters, you can destroy, we can do everything. If we catch you, we will buy a ticket for you, put you in a plane or in a bus to go back home. If by the time we catch you, you have already exported all the money you've brought, if by the time we catch you, you have already sent all the money back home, it means that we will still, not only the fact that you've taken all the galamsey loot back home, we will also still use the taxpayers' money to buy a ticket for you and take you back to your home country to go and enjoy the loot. Wow. talk about policy confusion. How do you say that there is will to fight galamsey when you are rewarding foreigners and even Ghanaians? If you catch somebody from my hometown, Tumu, doing galamsey in Eche Forest, you jail him. After when you release him, you even give him a bus ticket to go back to Tumu. You don't care whether he's over or Fana, you don't care how he's going back to Tumu. But if he's a Chinese, after all the money he has made, after all the destructions he has made, you will still take him back to his own country and you tell me that it's a commitment. Look, please, Mr. Minister of the Interior, Mr. Government, Mr. AG, this policy, and remember, this policy came from somewhere. It emanated. I remember when Aisha Huang was deported. Right voices, genuine voices rose up to condemn it in a no uncertain term, and that was right. And that was what we made. Based on that we had the then presidential candidate saying that when he comes in, Aratik's ban. Today, why are we still treating aliens better and with kid gloves when they are destroying our country as much as that? Why do we hate ourselves so much that not only are we the ones drinking the polluted water in the forest, we seem to also be rewarding the foreigners? It's wrong, we should do that. So that policy, please, Mr. President, Mr. Government, part of the commitment to galamsey must be said that we will treat all galamseyers the same. Either we are sending all of them back home to their villages, or we are prosecuting all of them and jailing them. Don't treat foreign galamseyers different from local galamseyers. That's just a point. I'm glad the president met the civil society organizers yesterday. Whenever the president of the republic meets people to talk, it's good. I love it. It deepens our democracy, and it is that's the president demonstrating his democratic hallmarks. That's the president saying that, look, I don't have all the answers, so I might not have all the answers. And some of you might have all the answers. Come, let's talk. So I'm happy, whether it was a Photoshop, whatever it is, the fact that the halls of government, the seat of power was open to ordinary people. Some of the people that went the problem, that was the first time they went there. That was the first time. Daryl, have you been to a Jubilee House before? You went there yesterday. Yes, so good for you. Some people go there. So I'm happy that people have gone there and they've spoken. The question then I want to say, what after this? In the first place, before this, we were never told what were the expectations or what were the objectives of that meeting.
I think the objective was captured in the letter of invitation. No. You said we were never told.
We were never told, yeah.
But the objectives were...
It was, okay.
Yes.
So now, what is the plan? Do we have a plan to implement the recommendations that come there? One, I want to see a social contract like the one the president signed when he came into power on galamsey. I want to see the president say, this is my social contract on galamsey. I am His Excellency the President. One, that social contract should, one, define what success in galamsey means. Not what sometimes I tell my graduate students, define your concepts. Don't assume that I know what you are talking about. Right? What is your concept? If you say efficiency, what is your concept of efficiency and how is it being used in this context? One, the government or the president should define his concept. What is success to you? What will you take as success and what will you take as failure? Number one thing, I want the government to do that. Two, when do you think you can make that determination? Because when you give us a social contract, you say 120 days. And once you did this, you are counted to good people of the country. I was here, I applauded the president for that. So, Mr. President, when do you expect us to now say, okay, based on this timeline, you have achieved that set objective or you haven't? It's important because in public policy, when you leave everything hanging like that, then it will be difficult for us to hold you accountable when we don't know, one, what your success is, and two, when to hold you successful for that. Three, give us a detailed budget. I think somewhere they say we need a bigger budget. I like that. Budget is about resources. So the third thing I'm asking for are resources. That means budget and time. Tell us that, look, I need this amount of money. Even if it means taxing the people more to collect money to clean it, some people might agree. I'm not saying I will agree with that. Even if it means borrowing more money from the World Bank or the IMF to fight this, some people may agree. I'm not saying I will agree to that. But at the point of that, so without these three indicators, I don't see how we are moving the ball up the field. Without these three indicators, we don't see how we can then track and see how better you are doing. So for me, I want these things to be done. When they are done, it helps. Then thirdly, I come to the issue of the state of emergency. I still believe that we need a state of emergency and we need it now. Because it is within a context that we are discussing this. Mm-hmm. We are discussing galamsey within the context of it being an existential crisis. When you say something is an existential crisis, you are saying that our very survival, not just as Ghanaians, that as a human species, is being threatened. When your very survival as a human being or as a species is being threatened, you adopt what I call an all of the above approach. You don't go into your toolbox and select a few tools and leave some tools there. You adopt what I call an all of the above approach. That is why on this matter, I agree with the Ghana Catholic Bishops Conferences that we need a state of emergency. That's why I agree with the media coalition on this, and especially Ken Ashigbe made it clear we need a state of emergency. The state of emergency raises a complete new mindset. A state of emergency addresses a fundamental social and even a psychological issue that, for the first time, Islam declared war. When Osama bin Laden and his people hit the towers, the American didn't say we can do. They declared a war on terrorism. And that war was, they used the military, they used intelligence, they used finance, they used everything. This is our 9/11. We should do that. And I'm also thinking about something. I remember the night that, the morning that these gallant 8 heroes died. The whole country was asking the question, what can we do in their memory? What can we do to make sure that what they were going there is not done in vain? I thought that the president or this meeting would have announced the Gallant 8 initiative or the Gallant 8 project, something in honor of them. And that thing should have gone something like this. In memory of these patriots, we are banning all surface mining for the next 2 years, for the next 1 year. A complete ban on it. We would take a huge financial hit, yes. But for the memory of these people, it's worth it. And then, if possible, we would go to this Galamsey site and we will put monuments there celebrating these men who lost their lives. That was a perfect opportunity for the president to do that. We missed it. I don't think it's too late. So I agree with the Ghana Catholic Bishops Conference. I agree with the media coalition. We still need to declare a state of emergency because it takes us to a different level. It takes us to the level where we now say that this is what we are doing. So that we don't seem to be choosing things when we know that this can work. Finally, I have not seen any plan to trace the funding sources of these galaxies. The small guys you arrest there cannot buy a bicycle, not only an excavator. Who are those bringing these excavators into the forest? I want to see a system whereby the government can say that, look, when we find any excavator in the Galamsey site, we can take the number of that excavator. We can send that number to DVLA. DVLA can tell us that the excavator is registered to Martin Pebu. Martin, sorry, I know you don't have an excavator. Then we can go to the Bank of Ghana and say, Mr. Bank of Ghana, tell us all the bank accounts that Mr. Pebu has. I know it's a lot, but don't worry. And that is a trace. And then we can say that the state can then say that we have the fact that we found your excavator at a Galamsey site. We then have the power to believe that you are a Galamseyer. They will freeze your account. Now, there may be a lot of law to go through that. That's why I believe in the state of emergency. I believe that in the state of emergency, you can do these things without lawyers like this, Cameron.
But now, if you were to find it under the law, okay, you can freeze automatically.
So why are we not tracing
people? Can freeze.
So why are we not doing
that?
Then
after a while, before they go to
So why are we not doing that?
So that's how we say it's good they met the president and then pushed.
So one of the things that came out in responding to this, I think the Minister for Lands and Natural Resources did indicate that excavators that have been brought into this country, at least since the inception of this administration, are being tracked. There's a tracker on all of them to trace.
So that's good.
Exactly what they're going to be used for.
So my point is that don't just track them. I'm saying relate the tracking to the owner, and then relate the owner to the owner's bank account, freeze that account.
That's now, if it's found.
If it's found, the moment you find, if you find my phone at the Galamsey site, you take it, and then you trace to my name, you freeze my bank account. There's nothing in the account, by the way. Then the onus of proof becomes on the person whose account is frozen. You now come and tell me why your excavator was at the Galamsey site and why we shouldn't freeze your bank account.
Yes, when it comes to money laundering, that's the law.
Thank you.
That's the law.
So look, if we are able to do this, that means that we are doing something. We are hitting at the finances of Galamsey. We're hitting at the finances of Galamsey because if we only catch the small boys and girls who from my village who have come here just to do Galamsey distance, we are not winning this war. So far, we have not hit the finances of Galamseyers. So far, the state has left Galamseyers to enjoy all their loot. Let's begin to hit where it matters. Let's begin to hit their pockets. Let's begin to hit their bank accounts. When you do that in the future, they will withdraw. Because see, Galamsey is an investment. If I spend, I don't know how much an excavator costs, let's say it costs $50,000 to import an excavator. That means that I'm trying to recover that money. If the next day the government freezes my bank account and I cannot pay the bank or somebody for the excavator, I won't import another one. I won't do that. So please, let's do this. And some of this are practical. Some of this is we can do them tomorrow.
Yeah.
So we can, in fact, with all the the excavator seas, we can generate those numbers today, and by tomorrow we can freeze all these accounts. In fact, you know what we can do with that money when we get it? We will give a large chunk of it to Mr. Sohoyene for the big push, so that you send a lot to my hometown.
Right. But if we can all the excavators, were they picked up at mining sites?
Yes, those that were picked up. We heard there are some that are impounded, right?
Yeah,
from mining sites.
Yeah.
Those are them. They will give a lot of the money to him to go to mine, and they will send some to the EPA to begin reclaiming the forest.
But you have to finish convicting them first before you distribute them.
And instead of a emergency, do we have to? Thank you. So you now see why I'm calling for a state of emergency. I'm calling for a state of emergency.
No state of emergency should allow that.
I wanted to allow that. So I'm calling for
because there's a constitutional protection, Article 20, your property, okay, and 18. So they're the same.
The lawyers. I'm believing that. Oh, let me hear that.
Yes,
I'm believing that. My point is, state of emergency will let us hit their finances. State of emergency will let us hit their investments.
You can use the law. Like I told you, what is it that you can do now?
So why haven't we done that then? My question. Why haven't we done that?
I think so far the president said they've deployed.
So my point, ultimately, in summary, define success, give us timelines for success, tell us the resources you will need, and begin to freeze bank account of Galamsey, those who fund Galamsey. If we do this, we will see that the tide will begin to change. Anything other than that, we are losing the war.
Well, and you talk about the financiers, Alhaji Sohini, that was one of the major promises of this administration, correct? That you're going to not only arrest the people in the pit, but also deal with the financiers of illegal mining, Galamsey. How far has this administration gone with that?
Alfred, first of all, I think that there's a need for us all to fairly commend the organizers of yesterday's event. It was very well put together. The outlook was different from the talk shops that we have had in the past, where money sometimes, got expended for nothing. I mean, I recall back in the day where we went to regions, and to traditional authorities, organized big seminars and events that cost so much money. You recall that I even at a point shared some of the, amounts that were spent in organizing fora on Galamsey and how to deal with it. I remember at one point about 1.8 million Ghana cedis was spent on one event, and we had these events across the regions. In the end, I mean, we didn't get anything. But yesterday's event was simple. It was simple. I mean, and it was not, outside. It was not at like a hotel where you had to, or the conference center where you had. It was simple to the extent that it was for me like a classroom, and then you had the president like the classroom teacher, and saying, "Look, we have this topic to discuss." It wasn't like a lecture. It was like, the kind of lecturer who comes to the classroom and says, "We are going to discuss this topic." That was the outlook I saw, and I thought that it was beautiful. It gave, the opportunity for everybody to freely express themselves when they were called. Not everybody had the time, though, because of, the time limitation that we had. But I think that the organizers really, really did a good job by the way it was put together. It brought all the different shades and different thoughts, together. And the presenters did a fantastic job, from the Minister of Lands and Natural Resources to the NIMOs and to the EPA. They all did a brilliant, presentation, up-to-date state of affairs as far as the government is concerned. And so I need to begin by commending those who put this event together and those who, did the presentations yesterday. And the questions that came out, that is where I think that it's also very important that we commend CSOs like Darrell and Co.
Okay.
They have been
very... political highway. So, Professor Frimpong Boatin, the report of the Babontin, or more APSA investigations reports. Nabusia, Sisian, Yababi Frěězě, Akuffo, Akonta. Professor Addo, Etuja. Madam Assistant Japan, Kokotisa, and some way, my Kana Politics Avenue. So, and don't forget to click on the notification bell. So, any update be able to drop piano. One so, one sir, every to me, Akabi, Madam Assistant.